Hey friends, it's Rachel and it is early morning here at the Ponds Farmhouse, and I have these two little tomato cages that I am going to be transforming today. I was going to be shooting this outside on my front porch, but we've had our little first cold snap here in the south, and I just don't want to be out there. My body doesn't adjust quickly to these sudden changes in temperature. So anyway, I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to make some little Christmas trees out of these tomato cages for either side of my front porch for the planters. And so I think it's going to turn out great. I'm going to be using magnolia leaves as well as some boxwood. All of this is fresh materials, and I'm going to just take you along as we see how these come together. I've never made one, so there may be some snafus along the way, but hopefully it will turn out as beautiful as I have it envisioned in my mind. First thing I did was, first of all, as we were cutting off the bottom rim of these tomato cages, this one kind of broke loose. So we just put some tape on it because you're never going to know it, just to hold it in position. And then we took and we put some tape here at the top to bring together the ends of the tomato cage. So these have been cut, the bottom rim has been cut off of it, and we're just going to take some tape. It doesn't take a lot of work to get these to shape up to look like a tree. So we're just going to put that around, put that right there. Whoops. Just hold it taut and then start wrapping the tape around it. And then once you get it started, it's fairly easy to keep it in position. So this is the first thing that we need to do. And now we have our little tree shaped tomato cage. Okay, the very first thing we need to do is cover this tomato cage with some paper. And I'm just using some craft paper here. This is, I have a roll of it that I use for Christmas wrapping and for all kinds of projects. So I'm just attaching it right here to the bottom rim and using some painter's tape to secure it. Okay, one of the first things I realized as I was starting to work on the project was that the background needed to be dark. And so I just added some spray paint to cover up the blue tape and the brown craft paper. You could use actual dark paper to begin with, but I was just using what I had on hand. And what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting the boxwood stems so that they fit right along the bottom of the cone. And what I'm doing is pushing them in really, really closely here. You want to completely cover the whole bottom. And I want it to kind of have a flare out effect, so I'm going to be adding in some other pieces that kind of that have more branches on them. But I'm just starting out with these more flat sticks to get some good coverage. And then you just go back in and add a little bit of hot glue to hold them in place. As I go along, some of them I put the hot glue on the back of the piece of boxwood, and some I just wait until I've got it underneath the jute twine. But either way works. You just want to make sure that you have plenty of material to work with, because it does take quite a bit to cover around, especially those first rounds of the project. So we're going to go all the way around here with this, and then we're going to come back in with our magnolia round. Okay, for our next round, we're wanting to use magnolia leaves here. And I knew that these would be a little bit more difficult to get to stay on the tomato cage cone. So what I'm doing is I've got a strip of floral tape laid out on some wax paper, and then I'm using the hot glue to just put a little bit on the back side of each of the magnolia leaves, and then I'm pressing those stems down onto the floral tape until it dries. I'm also overlapping each of the stems as I go. So I'm going to pull the camera in a little closer so you can see exactly what it looks like. And then leave this setting here until it has completely dried before you move it. Now you're adding that second row, which is the magnolia leaves, and you want to be sure that they're overlapping a good portion of the boxwood below it. Just use hot glue to put the tape on and be sure and hold it in position until it is dried. I recommend, again, using the finger protectors here. And then you're ready to start that second row of boxwood. And you're doing this exactly the same way that you did it before. Then you're going to follow with another row of magnolia leaves, just like we did the first time. Won't take quite as many on the second round because you're moving on up the cone and it's getting smaller. But you want to give a good fill in here of the boxwood.